Welcome to Money Convos, where we discuss personal finance and investment tips. We're committed to helping people create wealth and achieve financial freedom. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. Alright then, let's head into today's conversation.
Hi Adam, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Yourself?
Great. Yeah, it's how was church? Were you able to get home on time?
I didn't go this evening.
Okay.
So
Playing throughout. Okay.
Charlie, I was tired. It's been a long day.
And then when you think about that, your road,
Charlie.
Crazy.
That road can give you nightmares, I tell you.
There was a time when I started. I moved to go live somewhere new, and then just one factor used to kind of sway whether I'll leave home or not. Now this sounds very silly, but when I used to live in my mother's house, there was a gate. So every time I need to get out, I need to think about, okay, I'll have to open the gates, drag it, drive out, then
Come back,
close the gates and then go. Now I'm just being silly, right? But then when I went to another place, then I had two options. Either I park inside the house. Where to park inside the house, I have to do some serious maneuver to drive into the house. Or I can just nicely park outside at risk that maybe someone come and break my mirror or something.
I'll take your watch.
Understand? They actually tampered with my car sometime. I actually rather parked outside so that when I need to get in and out, I just drive away. Don't have to do any funny maneuver. I don't have to overthink getting out.
It's real.
Like the little things that sway us. All right.
Exactly.
Speaking of motivations to do things, today's conversation is something that I'm sure a lot of people hear about, but not a lot of people are motivated to act on it. Not a lot of people do it right. And today we want to have a conversation about how to do this right. It's about mentorship. So Mimi, I see you here. Please do come up if you can. Yeah, and looking forward to have Serum join us. Why do I have a feeling that you have a lot of experience in mentorship?
It's because I handle youth in church, so that's why. That's why you have that feeling.
Yeah, because
but it's true. I've had to do. I know that with the investment club too. We did a lot of mentorship stuff too.
Okay, that's great.
Have you met Edwin?
Yeah, I met Edwin. You remind me, I have to call Edwin back. I'm supposed to call him back. I'll call him after this. Yeah. So, hi Mimi. Hi, are you there? How you doing?
I'm well. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Okay, so let's get into it. I see Dennis has joined. Dennis, feel free to come up stage. So today we want to talk about mentorship. First, let's start. Who is a mentor? All right. Is it just an uncle, an auntie? Who at all is a mentor? Adam, would you like to take this?
Okay. In the broad sense of like meanings, mentor basically is like someone that you look up to, somebody who has aspired or has reached to a certain levels that you are aspiring to get to. And normally there is that link between the two of you. Okay, so I know there can be mentorship by remotes or like by distance, but there's usually that link between the two people where the person serves as a guide in trying to more like a coach in addition to help you to reach the goals that you are laid out for yourself. Yeah. So in a nutshell.
That's good. I'll give some guidance. Interesting. Mimi, how about you? You may also have had some of these experiences. Do you have any more to add, or do you think it's a totally different thing?
Um, I think Adam has covered it nicely. Yeah, so basically it's somebody that provides you with, some level of guidance. More often than not, this is a person that is doing well in an area or field that you want to improve in, and you have a relationship with this person. It could be formal, semi-formal, whichever, but a relationship with that person so that you can learn from the person's experiences. So that's what I'll say, as mentorship.
Okay, that's great. And I guess my own twist is I see it as really simple. Somebody who's been where you want to be, and you can go to the person for guidance. And sometimes it may be in terms of career. And yes, the conversation we're having today is about career mentorship. So that's something that you want to make sure that the person is on that path. And sometimes the person may actually just have certain skills that may be transferable in what you want to do. Okay, great. So first thing is we want to talk about is how to find a mentor. Before we talk about the best ways to get a good experience and benefit from having this relationship. I think from what we've explained, a first key characteristic you should look out for is certain similarities in the path. Somebody who's done what you want to do or who's been there, that's a good thing to look out for. Do we have any suggestions of other things that we should look out for in terms of finding a mentor?
Elikem, I feel like sometimes you may not generally have an idea of where exactly you want to be. So it could be someone who has a general, I don't know how to explain it to you.
Yes, generally good person, a generally successful person.
Yes, that you can pick, because you may not, especially for people who are younger, you may not necessarily know that, you want to work in maybe an investment firm. You get it. You may have done finance and you are just open to whatever comes to you. So you may need some general guidance to be able to go about it well.
True. And I can actually see certain benefits of what you are saying. If you don't know what exactly you want to do and you still want, and you find such a person, chances are, even if that person ends up not being in a path that you want to be on, they may know other people and they may be able to direct you to those people, because generally like people attract each other. So as they are generally successful, or they are successful in a certain area, they may know other people who have good values, good work ethic in other areas that they could just push you towards, because you want to have that conversation. Like sometimes they may even say, okay, well, what are your options? You don't know what exactly you want, but give me some things, right? Give me some options that you're thinking about. It could even be 5. Then as you are listing the 5, okay, maybe sometimes I think I want to be a software engineer. Sometimes I think I like numbers, so I want to do accounting, blah, blah, blah. The person may take notes and can even connect you to 2 or 3 people in those different fields, such that they would help you really think through it, and you realize that, looking at the life of software engineers, maybe I don't want that. So yeah, someone who is generally good can also be a good place to start. Adam, how about you? Any things to look out for in terms of how to find someone?
Yeah, I think I align with what Mimi also said. Like, there are sometimes you would have to start off from somewhere, and then through the process, you might not just deal with one person. It might have to be with a number of people. So they will keep directing you and leading you and guiding you until you meet that, or you get to that stage where now you are clear as to what you want. And then you are able to meet the exact person who fits your goal and also the person is also willing and also available, because it's not just a matter of just, oh, this person is successful, so the person can be my mentor, but is the person also willing, is the person also available to be able to take you through all the times. So you might have to start off from good people within your circles. It might be for a lot of us, it might probably start off as maybe at church or at school. Like, let's say, as you are, especially if you're in a university, you might have a lecturer who you realize that the person has these value systems and is also interested in your growth and your development. It might start off from there. Then might be able to connect you to other people in the field, and then you pick it up from there. Or if you started working, a new person, you started working national service, and you are in an office, you are not too clear exactly where your career path is going. You are not too sure, but you would be able to resonate and find one or two people within the working space. Surely there is somebody who is good at what they are doing in the office space. So it could start off from there. And then through that, you land with somebody who now can clearly take you through the path that you are trying to chart for yourself in your career. You might even not, you might end up leaving that company, but you can still keep that relationship, because mentorship does not necessarily mean that you are supposed to all be in the same organization or be in the same space every time. Yeah. So I feel the immediate networks you have, probably your church, your school, your workplace, or even in the community where you live, depending on how you live in the community. Maybe there are people who you have that rapport with, and you realize that this person is successful or is doing well or is on a path that you like, and you feel that you can learn something from the person. I feel this is a good starting point.
Yeah, I see certain parallels in what you were saying, Adam, and I just even like to give some examples related to that. So, how I got to know Douglas, right? He did an internship when he was still in university with my firm, and I did an orientation for my department, talked to them, let them know, blah, blah, blah. Then later, he reached out to me through our HR team or through somebody else, that, oh, hey, this guy actually wants to be in touch with you. He liked the way you spoke in this presentation or something. I was like, yeah, sure, give him my contact. That's how he reached out to me, and I think you all know the rest of the story. We've kept in touch. Once he told me he wanted me to mentor him, we were talking every 2 weeks, and until it became, well, enough things were covered, and then we started talking every 1 month, and then after that, as and when. But that was a good way for him to start. Just as you are engaging in various events, identify people that you feel like, okay, I like the way this person spoke, or I like the way this person conducts their activities. Sometimes it may be a hit and miss, in the sense that somebody may be very good at their work, but they may not necessarily have people skills, and they may not be willing to volunteer time, or they may not be able to volunteer time. Someone may be very nice, but they may be too busy. Someone may be technically competent, but their bedside manners are not so good. You don't want to be going around these people. You want people who be able to both be firm with you, but also be gentle enough with you to, give you some form of encouragement every now and then. So yeah, that's an example. Also, like, well, I'll give another point on how to find someone. I think people need to talk to people. As you are growing up, you need to understand that talk to older people about your career aspirations. Talk to them about the things that you want to do in life. It will help them. The ones who are more conscious say, okay, you know what? I know this person who may help you, or that person who may help you. And then they can connect. Because sometimes a lot of people see when somebody has potential and they want to be a part of your story. Eventually, you start identifying the negative people that you shouldn't be telling your story to. Yes, but as much as possible, open up, because that's how some of these ideas come. Some of the good ideas I've gotten is by having conversations with people. And the ideas I may get will not necessarily be exactly what the people said in the conversation. However, that kind of conversation got me thinking about certain things. And then it led to a different idea. But if you keep to yourself, you don't talk to anyone, you don't share anything, someone will go like, but you should have told me. If you had told me, I would have been able to point you here or there. You get the idea. So open up, talk to people. Eventually you will figure out who is not a good person to talk to. But then until then, just keep talking. Yeah, Mimi, you want to add some more points to this?
I just wanted to say that sometimes you look for the mentor, but sometimes you like somebody can spot you and feel like you have potential and would want to invest in you. A lot of the time, people may not pull their weight when that happens, but that's also another opportunity. So if you find yourself in that position, you can do a research, check up on the person. If you feel it's a good opportunity, why not? Rather than let something like that go away because you were pursued. Yeah. So.
Yeah, that's true. When also how to manage yourself when you are pushed to be a mentee. That's interesting. Yeah. And then there are some organizations that also have like mentorship programs. Maybe because you are part of this church, they are saying, well, we are pairing people with mentors. So this is your mentor, or it's a non-profit or something. You know, I know Money Convos, for example, we had a mentorship program in December 2022, just last Christmas. We had a mentorship program. And two main people really stood out in that program. One of them is an indefatigable producer. Then there's Kwame Kote. You understand? Yeah, he's a big man. So, yeah, it's something that it comes up every now and then, and you should take advantage of that, but also know when it won't work for you, as Mimi was saying. A few more points for me, and Dennis, feel free to jump in here. I'm sure you've looked for mentors before. Feel free to jump in. Another thing that I think people should be aware of is just is also knowing who is not a good mentor. All right, I've touched on some of these things before, but you also want to get a sense of what other people think of them. Look at experiences that other people have had. So if you go into a new workspace, you could say, okay, I know this person, or I see this person as such. Talk to other people around them. See if there have been such experiences. And sometimes the answers you get may lead you to know that, okay, this person may not be the right person for me. So you don't go wasting your time with that person. And so, yeah, those are some tips that could help you find the right mentor. All right, let's move on then to the mentorship experience. I think there are many things that people do wrong in the mentorship experience, or they do right in the mentorship experience, and it would be good for you to know these things. So we'll get to that in a moment. But I just want to drop a quick shout out to Emmanuel Iwuku. He's an old family friend that I've known from childhood. And I think this is the first time I'm seeing him in the space, but he's on our broadcast list and I share a lot of stuff and he responds. So shout out to Emmanuel, and I see he's even dropping some replies to promote the space. So big ups to you, my brother. Okay. All right. So let me get the ball rolling. There's a few points that I want to mention before Edem and Mimi steal my thunder. One, don't be in a hurry to be a mentee or someone. I've made this mistake before. I once went to somebody, I got the mentorship bag. I've heard about, find a mentor. You know, when I was in university, I used to go for a lot of these seminars, and one of them was like that. So I went to one of my mother's friends. I told, I want to come and see you, blah, blah, blah. I went there, I want you to mentor me. He was like, oh yeah, sure. And he was a big man in government, a big man. Ask me whatever that turned into. Nothing. We just had that one conversation, and not on his part. Because something we'll say, we'll talk about something very soon, and you realize why it wasn't his problem. It was my problem. I wanted a mentor because they said get a mentor, but I didn't manage the process. The mentorship process is led by the mentees. And so you need to know that you should be running that process. Don't go asking for a mentor because you listen to many convos and they said, get a mentor. So you go ask somebody, please be my mentor. No. You need to be more deliberate about it. So don't be in a hurry. Be a bit more deliberate about it and know that, okay, I'd rather have one mentor that I know work very well for me and I can put all my attention into that process than to go and ask everybody to be a mentor for me. And then I'm not making the most out of that process. Because remember, your time is limited, your attention is limited, you have other things to do. You're starting your national service, you're starting your first job. You have many things that you should be doing. So you can't spend all that time there. Also, the second point is part of what I mentioned is the mentorship process is led by the mentee. It's led by the mentee. And two of the standout mentees from the program we had, Dennis and Agnes, they embody this thing, and I'm surprised. Maybe I'm just wondering if I even mentioned this during our mentorship program. Maybe it was a side note, but these people actually check up on me. Oh, how are you doing? And then that jogs my mind to say, oh, I should be doing this thing for this person. I was supposed to do this. Like it's like they are following up on me subtly. I don't know where they got that thing from, or maybe I mentioned it, or we met them, or Mimi must have mentioned it in one of the events. But they did a good job of that, so they are never too long forgotten. And that's how you should manage that process. You should lead it. And we'll talk some more about things that you should do to lead it. So yeah, I'm pretty sure I've stolen Edem and Mimi's standard, but over to you to come up with other ways to manage the process. Oh, and Paulina, I see you in the audience. I'm pretty sure this is a topic that that you can contribute a lot to. So if you're in a position, please do join us up here. Yeah, let's switch over to Mimi. Mimi, how about you and the process?
Yeah, so for me, at a certain point, I wanted to mentor. I think I've mentioned it before. And so I tried some structured, mentorship programs, which didn't work too well.
Okay, seems we may have lost Mimi for a second. We'll circle back to Mimi in a moment. Adam, how about you?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Mimi, I think we can hear you now. Hi, Mimi, you can unmute and speak up now. Okay, let's circle back to Mimi in a moment. Adam, back to you.
Yeah, I think another thing, in addition to what you have mentioned, is the fact that if you are a mentee too, and we are trying to manage the process. Normally, this was what we would tell mentors, that it's not like you're trying to clone yourself. And I think it also applies to mentees to also know that it's not like you're trying to become a photocopy of somebody, but you're just trying to learn, to get skills, to acquire competencies, to learn ethics and what have you. So that it's not as though you're just trying to become a photocopy of somebody, in that you set yourself up for failure, because everyone is unique in the way we approach things and the way we achieve our task and everything. So I think it's very important that you keep it in mind that it's not as though you want to try to become a photocopy of somebody, but you just want to acquire the skills. Principles are principles, and they apply no matter where you find yourself, basically. So if you could learn those principles from people, learn the ethics, learn their values, what is it that has worked for them, and the context in which it's worked, and the kinds of learnings you can do and how you can apply it to your own life. I believe that helps in the whole process, so that you don't end up setting yourself up for failure right from the beginning. Thanks.
Good point, Adam. You're not trying to be a carbon copy, but you are trying to pick up on the values. And these are some of the subtle things. And I was telling someone recently that values are important, because once you understand and work on yourself to appreciate these values, in whatever situation that you face, the values will serve as a ruler for you to measure the kind of action you should take. In this kind of situation, if I'm faced with this question or I'm faced with this moral dilemma or something, I know my values and I should act appropriately. It's not like someone will have to teach me every possible scenario in the world before I know how to act as a professional or as a human being. values are universal. Like Adam said, principles are principles, So these are some of the things that you can learn from people. You can learn their work ethic. And it's good to learn these principles because sometimes where you are starting off, you are a clean slate. You may not have certain habits that you're already starting with. So it's good to have a mentor who can guide you and show you that, okay, these are some of the habits I do. If you try them out, if it works out for you, great. But you have to keep trying them to make sure that, okay, it really works for me or it doesn't work for me, So that's a good point Adam raised. I just want to go back a little. I remembered something that I should have said when we're talking about how to find the mentor. When you are starting work, and especially as you are looking for a company to work in, or organization to work in for your national service or your first job, I strongly encourage you, seek working in a good team. Seek out working in a company that cares a lot about training, a company that cares a lot about personal development, rather than just any company at all or any organization at all. I know some people are looking for national service roles and they're like, when people ask them, what do you want to do? They're like, oh, anything at all, anything at all. No, that's a bad approach. Have a sense of the direction you want. And other people want where they'll be paid the most. They're looking at the top banks, the highest paid banks. And I can assure you, after many, many years in the industry, right, I was at the biggest investment firm, but they weren't paying like the biggest investment firm. I could easily switch and go make a lot more money. Like my managers used to say, they used to even at the higher levels, the gap was even wider. And they would say that, and some people would be saying that, oh, just go, for your talent, you should just go work at those kind of organizations. And I said, you know what, the kind of experience I'm gaining in this firm, I could go to those top firms and for whatever reasons, those other, maybe the number 2, the number 3, the number 4, 5, 6, or even some of the startups or younger companies pay way more because they want to attract talent, but they don't have the necessary structures to groom that talent well. If I go to those kind of organizations, yes, I may have a nice role, I may have a nice position, a nice salary, but I would not grow. And funny thing is, I see this even in the oil and gas sector, where you would see people they'll get some roles there and they are getting paid a lot. But in 5, 7 years, they are bored, they are stagnant, they've plateaued, there's really no growth for them. The work that they do is, because it's so big an organization, they are just made to do one very specific thing. And they become masters as doing one very specific tiny thing. But other people who are maybe other accountants or other, they do other roles in other companies, they are given more opportunity to learn way more. So they have a wider breadth of experience. That's the kind of value you get by going to an organization that encourages people to grow. How does this feed into mentorship? Is the leaders in those organizations that creates these kind of structures. Even in some of these organizations, you want to make sure that you are aligned with a leader or a supervisor who cares a lot about your growth. People I've supervised would say I'm very hard, but I guess now I'm looking at it, I'm like, I've reached, I'm quite old enough for people to have gone to other companies and come back to send me messages or call me and say, wow, Elikem, the things that you were saying were true. Thank you for giving me that, for being so hard on me. Somebody actually said, well, I wasn't paying attention to you being hard on me, but now that I've gone to this other company, they are being hard on me, but they are not even giving me any support. But you were hard on me and you gave me the support. People so you want to pay attention to the people that people are saying, well, they are really hard, but they are supportive. That's the mix you want. Not somebody who's just hard because the person is a mean person. No. Somebody who's hard because they believe that you can achieve that potential and they are willing to support you. That's the kind of mix you want. Another thing you also want in a mentor is, if you have the opportunity to have a mentor outside of your organization, that would be good. I once had a mentee who I knew his long-term plan, and we were working towards his long-term plan, which was outside of the country. And he was working in a different firm, and sometimes he would talk about how the practices in those firms are different from some of the things that I have been saying. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm surprised they are doing it that way, but well, listen, keep your eye on the prize. Don't get comfortable where you are. Don't act like you're competing with your colleagues in that firm. If people would stroll into the office at 9 o'clock when they should be coming at 8, and no one is punishing them, no one is reprimanding them, no one is saying anything, don't be like them. Be the first in, be the last out. Lo and behold, the person stuck to these things, even though in their own environments, they weren't seeing these values being played out. And yet people were still being paid a lot of money. When he applied for other roles and when he went to test out these values, he got opportunities, and now he's moved on to do better things. You see, so you need having a fresh perspective with somebody outside of your organization may also help. So in this case, you may have more than one mentor if you had the bandwidth to handle that. So yeah, that's a few more ideas. I'll pause now for us to hear from Paulina. Paulina, how about you? Any tips on how people can benefit from a mentorship experience?
Hi, Elikem. Hello, everyone. So, let me say that a lot of times mentees are looking for, in my experience, a lot of the people, sometimes you go somewhere and speak, and then somebody comes to you and says, oh, I want you to be my mentor. A lot of times, what they are looking or what they are thinking of is really role models. And those two are very different, depending on what you want. But one of the things I find in my most successful mentor-mentee relationships is that it is not one-sided. So, for example, towards the end of last year, I participated in a mentorship session for women who were trying to get back into work after a career break. And I remember one of the sessions that we had, like, even as I was speaking to the ladies, I felt I was speaking to myself, and it's because they asked questions that made me think, that made me reflect on my journey. So one of the things I tell mentees is that don't go into the relationship wanting to download only. Sometimes upload too. What do I mean by upload? Like, one of my mentees last week, out of the blue, sent me a WhatsApp message and said, is there anything you want me to do for you? And I had somebody's CV that I had to review. I sent it to her. She's like one of those people who say, oh, do you have any speaking engagements? What do you want me to do to help you with your research? That kind of thing. So don't make it a one-sided relationship where consistently you are taking. Sometimes you also have to give to your mentor. I'm not talking about material things or anything like that, but think about their welfare. Like Elikem said, Dennis and Agnes will find out how are you doing? Those kinds of things, so that the mentor also feels appreciated, kind of, or that you are in this not for just selfish reasons, but that it's a win-win relationship. I hope I made sense.
Paulina, you made a lot of sense, and I could relate. There's one mentee I've had, and this person showed interest. Like, after the main work that I did with the person was over, then the person reached out. Some weeks later, I was like, oh, this thing that you do, I really also believe in the vision. I think it's good, and I want to support the vision. So that person has been uploading, has even been uploading content for us. I believe we all know who we are talking about, so I feel like I also got a lot of benefit from that experience. And any opportunity I can get to praise that person, I do. Any opportunity to advance that person's cause, I do. And it keeps going back and forth. It's like, it will be a gift that will keep on giving both ways. So just make sure that you are also adding value to your mentor's life. That's great. Mimi, if you are in a position to come back up, I'm inviting you upstage. Okay. I have a few more points, but Adam, do you want to mention another point before I go?
Well, you can carry on.
Great. Yeah, in case anyone just joined or and is wondering what we are talking about, this week we've been having a conversation about preparing our younger brothers and sisters for the start of work. These are people in their final year of university and looking at your national service placement. On Wednesday, we had a conversation about how to land a good placement for national service, effectively getting a good job. If you didn't join in on that conversation, our producer has already uploaded it, on time. So go back and listen to it. You can scroll through our profile on Twitter or go to YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcast. Just search for Money Convos and that session would be there. In fact, Dennis, if you can, just drop a link to the YouTube as a reply to this space so that people can go watch it if they want. Yeah. So continuing on with that line of thinking, we are looking at how can you make the best out of your experiences starting off from work. And mentorship is a good way to start. There are so many things you would not know, and a mentor will be a good person to tell you these things and give you guidance for you to know where to go. Okay, great. So how to manage this? I want to see the opposite of something I've said. In as much as we want you to lead the conversation or the engagements with the mentor, don't bug them. So don't ghost them, don't go silent on them, but also don't bombard them every day. Ask how often, what's their preferred mode of communication? What's their preferred frequency of communication? Me, for example, if you send me a message, chances I won't see it or I don't feel like it's urgent because I feel like my phone is a distraction and I've made other things to do. But when you call me when you call me, I'll answer. If I do answer, I will respond more urgently to a missed call than a missed message. So if you have a mentor who is telling you this, you pay attention and look at their preferred mood. Other people will say, just send me a text message. Send me a normal text message, not a WhatsApp, because WhatsApp will be mixed with everything, but text message stands out on its own. Yeah. Pay attention to that and know what they are comfortable with. Would you like us to talk once a week or once every 2 weeks? Then the person will let you know their preferred modality. Some people say, let's take it, let's play it by ear. That's as and when. If you have any issue, just message me. We'll find a good time. Always ask if you are getting the person off a schedule. Ask the person. You call the person and say, "Oh, hey, is this a good time? I want to get like 5 minutes of your time." Let the person know. Don't let the person think it's just going to be a simple conversation and 30 minutes later, you're still talking. Have a sense of how long that conversation will take and then respect their time. Let them know. If it's going to work for them, great. If it's not going to work for them, they'll let you know. It will be bad for you if a mentor says, okay, that mentor really wants to invest in your advancement. So the person wants to answer your question, your phone call every time. And that person answers the phone and it's a time that doesn't work too well for them. They're about to start a meeting in 10 minutes and you are talking for 30 minutes. Nah. Or they have to rush through the process. They don't get enough chance to listen to your whole story before they give you some advice or some guidance. No, don't rush the process. Ask them if it's a good time. Let them know how long you think that conversation will take. Then they can proceed from there. Another thing too is, as you are having these engagements with them, open up, share your experiences. Oh, hey, this was day one of work. This is how it went. Later you say, well, I'm having this challenge at work. This is how I've attempted to solve it. What do you think? And I'm saying this because don't just go to them with problems. Have a sense of what you think a solution would be and run it by them. Don't just go to them asking for answers. They can course correct. They'll help you guide. Okay, maybe what you're thinking of, rather think about it in a different way. But if you keep coming to them with no clue about an answer, then they will feel like, well, what are you doing on your own? It's easier for people to support somebody who is already doing something than to support somebody who is not doing anything at all. So you want to make it easier for your mentor. And that way they want to guide you even better. It makes it an easier experience for them. They don't feel like it's a chore to answer your calls or your messages. They know it's going to be a good experience. As you are sharing your experiences with them, telling them what's going on with you, and they are making recommendations to you, they would, when they make those recommendations, do your homework. Follow those recommendations. Attempt it. If you don't understand the recommendation, ask for clarity. Get that clarity and go and implement it. But if I have a conversation with you today, you tell me you have a certain problem, or even if it's not a problem, and I suggest to you, you're thinking about this path or this career path, or you're going to do this kind of work, I think you should go and watch this YouTube video or go read that book, and that may help you. If we talk a week later or whenever next we talk, I expect that you've done that or you've attempted it. And you know what's reasonable? If you are spending all your time just watching series, and because of that you've not watched those videos. Oh, especially if you don't drive to work, you take trotro, you're sitting in the trotro and you're just listening to music. Meanwhile, you could have watched a 15 minutes YouTube video. No. Do that thing that they ask you to do. Read the book, talk to the person that they say talk to, do it, and then come back and let them know that I did the thing you said I should do. This is how it went. This is the lesson I picked up on. Then they see progress. They see that you are willing to do the things that they say you should do. Then they can give you more ideas. But if the first time you come, they give you a recommendation and you don't go execute it, and they have to even follow up, that person is highly unlikely to give you any more ideas. You are not going to get the best out of that mentor. And we are all human. Just put yourself in that person's shoes. They have limited time, limited attention span. They probably have a whole life going on. They may be a manager, managing other people. They may have a family, whether it's taking care of parents, taking care of their partner, taking care of children, extended family issues. They are human beings with a whole lot of things going on with them. If you are going to want to tap into their lives and you want them to make some effort towards you, are you going to make it a chore for them, or you are going to make it a delightful experience? You want it to be an easy, delightful experience for them. So that's one way to make it delightful. Do the homework, report back your feedback from the homework. Don't make them follow up, and something related is, don't waste their networking opportunities. Or rather, if they send you to somebody, if they recommend that, you know what, I have a friend in this field, go talk to that person. And when you talk to that person, you will get a better sense of this or that. If they say connect with that person on LinkedIn or do this or do that, and I think last week we mentioned, if it's a LinkedIn connection, don't just say connect. Send a message along with the connection so that they know why you're trying to connect with them. Anyway, I digress. If they say go to that person promptly. Don't go say hello, hi, and wait for a response. No. Hello, I'm so and so, and I was asked to reach out to you by this person because the person thinks believes you can give me some experience, some insights on this and that. What time would be a good time for us to have a conversation? Let the next time the person responds to you be a definite action point. Okay, let's do this time at this place or on Zoom or something. Then you get it done. Remember that as you are going to that person, to the third party that you've been sent to, you are a representation of your mentor. If you go and do something that looks bad, it's going to reflect on your mentor. You don't want that to happen. If your mentor goes to tell somebody that, oh, I have a mentee who is interested in this field, blah, 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 that person, for the respects that they have for your mentor, is going to make that time for you. Time that they may not be making for other people, but because it's your mentor, they are doing that. When you go, behave yourself. Behave well. Otherwise, that third party will go like, when Elikem sends people to me, the people are not correct. I don't mind Elikem again. You've just spoiled opportunities for your mentor. When I was younger, I did something where it annoyed my mother's friend. What happened was I was looking for a job, the same position you are right now. I was looking at many opportunities, right? And I had the SEO opportunity, and before I got head back from the SEO opportunity, I asked my mother's friend if he could connect me to, job opportunities, and he told me to go see somebody The person was a director of an investment firm. When I went to this person, he wanted me to work for a different company than the one we had intended. And it was smooth. Like, it was like, okay, when are you vacating from school? When does school end? Okay, don't worry. Just come back when you are done with school. You don't want to see my resume? You give it to the office manager. Is this person, is Mr. So and so who sent you? So no problem about resume or anything. Charlie, the connection was working. I was shocked. Now I went to talk to the office manager, and the office manager is like, this thing really would. The office manager really discouraged me and all that. No problem. Then I went to when the SEO opportunity came, I had a conversation. I went back to that the big man, the director, and then let him know that this opportunity has come, and comparing them. There are opportunities to do this, do that, go work here, go work there, and he agreed. He's like, okay, that's fine. But to my mother's friend, he was offended. And he said, it's like, I'm blocking opportunities for other people that will come after me. I can assure you, 8 years later. So he and my mother forced me to take that decision. It was a bad decision move on their part, undisputed. They regretted it many years later. And my mother has been trying to make amends. She supported me as I'm good in my career and all that, to make amends, because my friends have followed that pattern. They made a lot of money. But anyway, the method, what they were doing, their point was wrong. But I want to highlight more on how did that person feel as someone who was connecting me to another person. He felt, and rightfully so, he felt like his contacts will not think he's serious because he doesn't refer serious people. People ask me, I'm looking for a job. If I don't feel like that person is serious, I won't connect them to anything worthwhile, because it's my reputation on the line. So I gave you this example for you to appreciate that you are a representation of people when they send you, and act right so that you don't destroy their reputation. Okay. I see Mimi had wanted to chip in, but she's dropped down. So I'll invite Mimi up again. While we bring Mimi up, let's see if I have any more quick points. Said this earlier, but be willing to be pushed. Growing up in Ghana, it's one of the things that annoyed me was when you are doing more, when you are trying to get more work done, people say you are doing too much, you are making them look bad, so they don't want you to do that. No. When you are going to a mentor, you are going to an expert, and an expertise part of it is also hard work, pushing yourself. People don't like to be pushed. I don't have a problem with strict people, because all I have to do is what they ask me to do. I just have to do the right thing, and that's fine. But people are not comfortable with doing the right thing, so they are offended by people who insist that they do the right thing. Don't have that mindset. Once you want a mentor, you are saying that you are willing to be pushed. You are willing to go that extra mile because you want the path of greatness. Very few people have been successful without putting in the work. Very few people. If you want to be successful, you want your career to grow, and you want it to grow fast, you want to make sure that you are willing to take the corrections that you are going to be given. You are willing to do the work that you will be recommended to you. It's not a simple task. And you have to put your ego aside. You have to put your pride aside and be willing to be a good learner. If somebody is not pushing you and somebody is just making you feel comfortable, maybe that person may not be a good mentor and may not be the best experience you would have. So just be willing and ready to go with that. Okay. All right. And then, Paulina, Dennis, have I jogged any memories of any other points that would help people benefit from a mentor?
Elegant. So on the point of being willing to put in the hard work, like I said when I spoke at first, I see that a lot of people don't want to put in the hard work. So personally, one of the ways that I weed out the time wasters is to give them books to read. Like our first meeting, I give you books to read, to summarize for me. Invariably, like 99.9% of the time, it takes out those who are not serious. So these are not academic books. The last time I shared it on Women in PR, people thought it was academic books. It's not. I think that for a lot of young people, when they are seeking mentorship, one of the things they're looking for is because Ama Tedu recently died, so let me use, shall I go to Cape Coast or to Elmina? So like they're in a dilemma. Should I go here or there? So mentorship is supposed to help them kind of streamline their thoughts and find their feet. So the books that helped me find my feet as a young person, they are the books that I recommend. So the first one I recommend to you will be, for example, Purpose Driven Life. That's not very difficult to read. It's a 40-day journey, so it's not difficult to read. Then once you have done that and you have done the summaries every day when you can, and you send it to me. Usually I take it in a week or in a month. So you do the summaries and then you send it to me. Then afterwards, I'll let you read 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. That's a bit difficult to read, I understand. But the serious ones, all the time, they'll read it. And that's the point where I know that, all right, this person means business. But like you said, a lot of people don't want to put in the work. And sometimes it's heartbreaking to see, because you see the potential and you know that this person, if they push themselves just a little bit more, they could excel. But I think we have raised a generation that thinks that the things they see on social media, like when you climb to the top, you got there walking leisurely. No. Many of us put in like the hard work behind the scenes, so that when we get to where we have gotten to career-wise, it's because we are putting the work. And I think it's one of the things that we need to encourage young people to know, that actually you have to put in the work. You have to put in the work. You have to put in the work.
Good point, Paulina. And just a quick addition. When people are looking at the successful people or the mentors that you want, ask them questions about when they were coming up, not where they are right now, because somebody may be pulling up to the office at 9 a.m. right now. But when the person was your age, the person was showing up at 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Don't look at what they are doing now. Ask them what they did to get to where they are. No. So yeah, that's some more perspective. Dennis, how about you? I know you've been having good mentorship experiences. So any tips you have for your contemporaries?
Good evening. So I think when you were speaking, it brought back memories of our mentorship program, the one we had during February. And I remember one particular thing you taught me when I was having challenges with my laptop, unable to submit my assignment on time. So you kept you kept pushing me, but I failed to see the lesson. So I think at the end of the day, you taught me a valuable lesson that I should not make any excuses, no matter my hardships, no matter what I'm going through. If I've committed to something, I should get it done. And it has helped me since that time to today. And then also the point about time wasting, you're also stressing on it that we shouldn't waste people's time. At times, you thought you were being harsh when we came to meetings late, and then you were hard on us, but it has also helped me in the long run. So I think those are the very 2 points I got from you, and I think everyone can also learn something from them.
Charlie, Dennis, you didn't tell the first story now. You didn't tell it well. You didn't say it exactly as it happened. I eventually asked you a question to put everything in perspective. Please, say the story well.
Okay, so we were given an Excel assignment, and we were supposed to watch, I think, 60 videos. Approximately 60 videos, and then use that to handle the assignment. So along the way, I got issues with my laptop, and because I was putting in the work previously with the other assignments, I thought, oh, this one, even if I don't do it, Elikem would not mind. So I just casually sent him a message that, hey boss, I'm having issues with my laptop, so I can't send this assignment. Please forgive me. So I thought that was the end of it. And then I got a message from him the next day that I have this deadline to submit my assignment. So I was like, okay, boss, I don't have a laptop and this. So he kept giving me alternatives. So why don't you ask for a laptop from another person? But I still gave him excuses. So I thought, okay, I've had my way, I will not do the assignment. And then one evening, I just got a call from Elikem, which I didn't usually get. I got a call from him, and then we started talking about life and all those stuff. And then he asked about the assignment again, that when am I submitting the assignment? I also gave him the excuse that my laptop is not fixed, so I cannot do it. And that's when he gave me the ultimatum that if I don't submit the assignment by the next day, evening of the next day, I'll not hear from him again. And that was when I knew the thing was getting very real. So I had to go and borrow a laptop from someone and do the assignment that evening and submit to him. And that was when I realized that excuses don't really cut it. Even if you are facing issues, you should always find a way to get things done. And that was a very valuable lesson Elikem taught me. So thank you, Elikem.
You're welcome, Dennis. The excuses don't cut it. And I think it was you I gave this example to. I told you that if I had told you I'll give you $500 to do that assignment, would you have figured out how to get the assignment done? That's the question people should be asking themselves. If you are given something to do, put a monetary figure to it, because I can assure you, in 5 years, you will remove that kind of money from your back pocket if you follow the right principles. It may not even take as long as 5 years. You'd be surprised. So put a monetary value on the things that you're excusing. And it's interesting to hear you say the story this way. I like the number of times casually came up in your story. But anyway, I hope it is a lesson to everyone. Excuses don't help. As the grace that Dennis had got is what got him deadline extensions. But I guess to a point where grace abounds, but does that mean we should still continue misbehaving? You understand? So the grace will run out when it comes to human beings. Don't push your luck. All right. Anyway, I think we have Mimi back finally. Mimi, are you there?
Yes, blame the terrible internet. I just go home, so
sorry.
I have something more stable.
All right. So we'll hear from you and then we'll start the conversation.
Yes, unfortunately, I didn't hear half or more than half of the conversation, but a lot of important points were put out there. For me, it was just an opportunity to assess my own relationship as a mentee. I think Paulina said something about how do we give back value. I know we go into mentorship programs with the idea that we are supposed to benefit, it's for our benefit. But I feel like to make the most of it, if it's a mutually beneficial relationship, it helps. I don't know. I think it's just psychological, knowing human beings and how we tend to behave. When you sense that somebody just has your best interest, even though that may not be the whole mindset for wanting to mentor someone, I feel like it makes you give off your best. Also try and be as enthusiastic as possible. Sometimes you are mentoring people and it feels like, you're harassing them or something. So I feel like excitement helps. And before the internet started messing up, I was sharing my own mentoring journey. I've always wanted to mentor. I don't know why, but I wanted to mentor. And I remember the first 2 opportunities to mentor, which were both structured mentorship programs, didn't work for me. And the first mentee I saw, I knew that it won't work. Because I'm sure it was like, this girl, what does she have to offer? The second one was a Rwandan. I don't know what happened, but it also didn't work. So the third one, as soon as I saw her and I saw her excitement and enthusiasm, I'm like, no, this is going to work. I have to, put in the effort. So I feel like be excited, not like be all over the place and all that, but be excited, like show that the relationship is of value to you. You value the person. I feel like as human beings, once you do that, you get the most of the person. Sometimes you're not getting the most of someone, not because the person is terrible, but it's just our positioning. So you don't get like the best out of the person. Then I also feel like before a mentorship relationship starts, it's important to sit down and set goals. because if you don't do that, it can be all over the place. So set goals. And I feel to get the most out of a mentorship program, you should have some level of clarity. I can be quite a confused person. So I realized that I'm unable to get as much of help from mentors if I was a bit more clear on not having all the answers to the questions though, but a bit more clear as to what exactly it is I was looking out for. The mentor will be able to help better, because at the end of the day, it's my life. So I think that while you're going through a mentorship program, it's important to sit with yourself and do the hard thinking. Once you do that, it makes it much easier for the person to guide you, through the process, because the person may have said, read this, do that, but maybe you've done it, but you've not sat down to think about how does this, you have to do the thinking because it's your life, so I think that is also very, very crucial. Be appreciative for every opportunity you get. And I know I don't mentor Dennis, but he's somebody that I also stick my neck out for. Recently, I remember there was a conversation in my office. I just mentioned his name, and it's because there's enthusiasm. I mean, you can see that this guy, especially, he even checks up on me and stuff like that, Charlie, and all that. And I'll say, well done. That's a good way of going about it, and something that I'm picking up myself to make sure that I do that in my mentoring, where I am also a mentee as well. So that's what I wanted to add here.
Thank you. Maybe it's sharing your own experiences was a good way to bring alive some of the points that we've mentioned. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so yeah, if anyone joined the conversation at the tail end, don't worry, you could go play back the recording on our Twitter profile or go on wherever you listen to your podcast or YouTube. Dennis has dropped the links in replies to this tweet. Many locations you could play back this audio and the part one of the conversation about how to land a job for your national service. We are wrapping up at this point, and I would open it up to anyone who has any questions. If you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand. It will be a good time to answer your questions, maybe about the conversation we had in on Wednesday. If you were present and you have any questions, follow-up questions, you can ask them now or send a DM or reply to the tweet so that we can answer them if you are shy to bring your voice on board. And that will help improve the experience for you. Answering your questions would be good. I see some other people in the audience. I just want to draw some shout outs to. I see Douglas. Douglas, feel free to come up and share your experience about mentorships, your mentees and your mentors. Any tips that you feel like people will be good for people to know. It will be good for you to share those. To our speakers, do you have any final words for our audience?
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sure. So I would say that like Paulina and yourself, you've said already, you have to put in the work. Let's just strive for excellence in whatever you are doing. Make sure that you are accountable for what you are doing, and I'm sure that once you do that, it gets to a point where you don't even need to struggle about so many things. Look at the way Dennis is getting all the accolades over here, and I know people are actually trying to poach him to their organizations. So many people are actually trying, and that speaks to when you put in the work and then you deliver. Now the mentors themselves are the ones who are going to be sticking their neck out for you, because right now it's very difficult for people to stick their necks out for people. So for someone to take that chance on you, it means you'd have to go the extra mile. So it's very, very important that in any mentorship relationship, you give in your all, give in your best. And let's not do it haphazardly. In the end, it will pay off. And I believe that they are for the benefits. It's a lifelong something. You will keep reaping it as you move along. So in just concluding, I will just say that put in the work. Just make sure that you are accountable. Just don't live haphazardly. Take initiative, and in the end, the benefits will accrue to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. A reminder to put in the work. The benefits will come. Your reward will not only be in heaven, it will be here on earth. In a few years, you'll be surprised. Okay. Paulina, how about you?
Let me say that mentorship is important, and it's necessary for career growth. But do your homework well before choosing anyone as your mentor. Like, set your objectives, know exactly what you want from the relationship, and go into the relationship, like I think Elikem said, not wanting to clone yourself into your mentor, but adding on to who you are so that you will stand out as an individual. Thank you.
Thank you, Paulina. Don't clone yourself. Do the homework before you settle on who should be your mentor. Great. Mimi, how about you? And before Mimi comes, Rich Auntie Seram, we see you. We've been waiting for you. So if you have any concluding points for our audience, please feel free to come up and share your thoughts before we end it. Okay. Back to Mimi.
Yeah, like Paulina said, mentorship is very essential. They say there's this tree proverb I'm trying to remember. Akolana something opinina. Anything I know.
Mimi, you don't speak tree. Why are you forcing that thing?
No, I speak. I just don't remember the proverb. Akwalan Obia.
Okay.
I don't know.
Akolad Obia Yebida. Pinyin.
Opinion bida. Akolad Obia
Exactly.
Everyone
Exactly.
Mimi
Exactly.
many masipa.
Oh, yeah, some Paulina.
So let's translate it to English so that
Yeah, so I feel like sometimes we feel like people haven't gone through what we've gone through, so we rather keep to ourselves. But by speaking to people, you cut short, your mistakes, and it's just very essential to have a mentor, both in and outside your organization. I wanted to add that, with those inside, sometimes you can't have certain conversations. With those outside, those that are trustworthy, you can just open up and have certain conversations, certain challenges you may be having at work, and have somebody who is not emotionally tied to the organization to give you, So I feel like all those relationships matter. It's important to find somebody who is also interested in you as an individual, so that as you push, the person is also pushing to make sure that you're in a good place. So that's what I'll have to say. And once you get a good mentor, don't mess up the relationship. Make sure that you make the most of it.
That's great. Thank you, Mimi. Yeah, so be willing to learn from other people because they've probably been where you've been before. My concluding thoughts is it can be a rewarding experience, but it needs to be a deliberate one, and it needs to be a mutually beneficial one. Make it a good experience for the person who will be your mentor. Don't waste their time. Don't waste their contacts. Don't disrespect them. Make them want to keep helping you, and they will further your cause. Really, it can be a fruitful opportunity, but it can also easily be messed up. Remember that you are the one to lead that conversation. You are the one to lead the whole process. Don't ghost them. Don't go silent on them, but also don't back them every day. Be deliberate. Ask them what they are comfortable with, and they will let you know how to reach out to them in the end, how often to reach out to them. And a slight deviation from this particular mentorship conversation, I'll encourage you that as you are going to start working, you should know that you're going to start earning some money. All throughout your education, some of you have been going to school for the last 15 years. Very little education was given to you about money and personal finance. It's a topic that everybody feels like they know, but we've not had any formal education on it. It's because everyone touches money, you feel like we already know. We know about investments. We can add 1 + 1, so we are all good. Follow Money Convos, where we are having this conversation. Follow Money Convos. Follow it on Twitter. Follow it on Instagram, Facebook, and then also follow Investment Friend on Instagram. Why are we saying do this? Because you're going to be entrusted with some money. It may be small for starters, but eventually it will be big. But you need to build certain habits. We have our podcast. We have these recordings on Twitter, and you can go and play back all the conversations that we've had. And we have these conversations on a weekly basis. Keep coming back because it will help sharpen you. You will make a lot of improvement in your money relationship. You won't make the mistakes that other people your age will be making, blowing all the money that they get or wasting it or going to invest it in the wrong things. You want to make sure that you are setting up your career on a good note. Sometimes people wonder what happened to all the money that they earned. I can assure you, in a year to come, you look back and say, hey, did I make all this money and where did it pass? Like, what did I have to show for it? There will be people feeling like that. You don't want to be one of those people. All right. So do follow us and learn about investment tips, personal finance tips, and especially at Investment Friend, if you engage, the content there is more practical and can teach you certain things that may be more suited to you. So be willing to learn. There are many areas to learn. You think you are done with school. You are not done learning. You are nowhere near done learning. There will always be something to learn, formally, informally. I think there are some topics that we've had in the past related to career development and all that. I think I'll work with Dennis and we'll try to pull remember those topics and the links for those and reply to the tweet later so that you can go play it back on how to increase your income. We had a conversation a couple of weeks ago about how to increase your income through artificial intelligence. These are some key competencies that you may want to take advantage of as you start working, so just keep learning. And don't think it's over. There may not be any formal exams, but the exam of life will always will test you every bloody day. You need to be prepared for that. So keep learning. Your brain is your tool, and you need to keep it sharp. Anyway, I'll end here, and I wish you all the best. If you are in your final semester, go kill it. Get straight A's this semester. Correct that GPA of yours if you are not already at first class. In fact, sometimes the first class, if you have 3.65, it may not look so good. Aim for 3.75. If you are too far from that, wherever you are, just get straight A's so that you can maintain that one. Remember, no excuses. And if you're already done with school, I know my cousin is done with school. Use your time wisely. From now to when you have to start your national service, start picking up the skills from what we were talking about in part 1. Use your time wisely. The devil finds work for idle hands. If you believe in that, if you are religious, I think it's something in the good book. But use that time wisely. Okay. Anyway, thank you for making the time. Thank you, Dennis, for organizing this. I see so many new faces, both in the part 1 and part 2. So you did a good job of getting people to come listen to this. I hope you all return every Sunday. We've changed Money Convos time from Wednesdays to Sundays. So now Sundays at 8 p.m. If it's too late for you to tune in, don't worry. The recordings are always there on Twitter, on YouTube, on wherever you listen to your podcast. It will be there promptly. The hope is that as you listen to this on a Sunday, you can prepare yourself for the week to come, and start on a good note. So thank you so much. We appreciate your time tuning in this evening. I wish you a good night and a very productive and prosperous week. Goodbye, everyone.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to our thoughts. I hope you learned a thing or two and start practicing. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Clubhouse, and Facebook. And subscribe to our YouTube and podcast. Do tell a friend about Money Convos so we all become wealthy together. Talk to you soon. Bye.